Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite, a discussion and review podcast focused on the Star Wars universe. I'm your host, timvanautreve. Joining me, as always, Josh the Tosh, internet famous Mason.
Hello.
And Jennifer Van Autreve.
Hi.
And thankfully we have Max, who's 19 months old, and he's found the drumsticks.
He's 20 months.
Whatever. Same diff.
So he's one.
That's 24.
Yeah, but one doesn't give enough context for
It
age.
gives all the context a person would need.
Okay.
He's a 1 year old.
He's greater than one, but less than two.
We are a Star Wars podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Last Shot, the Lando novel by
It's not
Daniel
just a Lando
José
novel.
Older.
It's a
it came
Han
out
and Lando
in
story.
conjunction with the
movie Lando. The movie Solo.
Right.
Which would make it a
Han
Solo.
and Lando. It does say specifically in the title, Last Shot, a Han and Lando novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Touche. So, as per usual, Jennifer does our Synopsize.
What?
You're also the most recent to have
Per
completed it.
usual. Tim just finished it like 5 minutes ago.
How?
It's been too long. I can't even remember.
You can't remember the format of the podcast, like what we do? Like it took us a while to make it in.
People are probably, we should maybe say the date, because people are probably thinking that this is not real, because it's been so long since we podcasted.
No, we should not piddle around and just do the Star Wars
People
podcast.
in the future won't know the difference.
Oh.
They'll just think it was a seamless transition.
Correct. They won't notice that 5-month gap.
Well, they won't know.
5 months.
They're in the future.
You might hear Max chattering.
He wants to be on the podcast. Go.
Okay,
Synopsis.
so I can synopsize this in about one sentence.
Go.
That
would be a miracle.
This is like Order 66, except for instead of clones getting the kill order, it's every droid in the universe. And instead of coming from Palpatine, it's coming from some weird medical student turned psychopath who believes that droids are superior to organics.
How many sentences was that? That was more than one. Pretty sure.
One super run-on sentence.
Okay. Yeah. So the story is told in what? Is it 3 parts?
No.
Or is there 4?
It's like 4 different timelines from like 5 different characters' perspective throughout the different timelines.
And it jumps around.
Yeah, and in the different timelines,
discombobulating.
In the different timelines, they have a different person read in the audiobook. I did this one partially audiobook and partially read it. I prefer reading it.
Yeah, the jumping back and forth in time was very disorienting for...
And some of the stuff back and forth in time was like not even very necessary.
Yeah, I think the idea was that they were going to tie everything up into a neat little package, which they kind of did at the end. But yeah, there were a lot of callbacks to the Solo movie, particularly with L3 ending up being the hero of the novel, even though she had passed into the Falcon.
Yes.
Spoilers
From Solo.
Yeah, besides the part with L3, I don't see any similarities with the Solo movie.
You mean like tie-in?
Yeah, tie-ins. Like,
I mean, it was just to explain that they knew, had some adventures together, basically.
Yeah, they did it in a very discombobulated timeline format, and so, basically it took a while to get to the point. They were hunting down this mystical item, the flux capacitor. What was it called?
Phalanx reductor.
Right. And that device.
Is that what it's called?
It wasn't mystical at all, though. It was just a piece of equipment. It was just a transmitter.
It wasn't. It ended up being a droid that was a transmitter.
It wasn't mystical. What?
And it had the power to send out a signal across the entire universe. And
the guy, Violent. What is it called? No.
Fringgore.
No, phalanx. I got to think of the name of the. Dang it!
You think we would have looked that up before the podcast?
No.
Maxie, stop.
Phalanx redux transmitter.
Right.
So it has a really low range because it's just this old medical droid's head, basically. And he was plotting to boost it, to get it to go to a broader area and have a bunch of droids kill people. So the whole plot was the race against time to find the phalanx and stop it.
Right, but Han had a chance at it. Lando and L3 had a chance at it back in the past.
In the past, right.
Right, and so those two stories were going in
They
concert.
didn't know what it was back then.
Right.
Han didn't.
Right.
And so the whole story starts off because somebody tries to murder Lando.
Right, one of his droids, or a droid.
Well, no, so Fringgore was there.
Right, it was Phison.
But he made one of his droids turn on him.
But anyway, so Lando now owns, he's
Super mega droid.
Yeah, he's a droid manufacturer tycoon. He's the Elon Musk of the Star Wars universe. He does it all. So now he's produced all these droids, and this phalanx thing can render all those droids murderers that he's built. Because Phison, one of the reasons he attacked and he went into Lando's area was to hacksaw all of his codes so he could take over all of Lando's droids.
All of his company.
But yeah, the company manufactured droids, but not just his. The ones that were manufactured by the company before Lando bought it.
Yeah.
Well, that's tens of thousands of droids.
The current timeline in this book is like
Kylo is like a year or two old.
Yeah, Ben is like a toddler, like Max, basically. Yeah.
That's when the current story, the contemporary timeline is.
And
the beginning of the story is like 20 years prior to that, when Phison.
Yeah, but the current timeline, when they keep going back to now.
Right, the contemporary one.
So.
But Phison.
Leia and Han are married. They have Ben. He was like a toddler. She has her position with the government. I don't know if she's not a senator yet, but I don't know what she is.
She's not a senator.
She's working with Mon Mothma and doing government official stuff. And Han is kind of like just not doing much of anything with his life. And he feels like a super bad parent. He doesn't know what to do.
Feels like he does everything wrong.
He feels like, he's like just out of his element. Feels like a bad dad.
Because he's got a perfectionist for a wife who expects everything a certain way.
He's just kind of I don't know the word. I don't know. He doesn't know what to do with himself. And then Lando comes in, telling him he needs his help with this mission.
Well, he comes in and decks him.
Right, because
sneaks on his balcony and then punches him right in the kisser.
Mm-hmm. So that was because he thought that Han was the one that got him into trouble, that almost got him killed, because at some point Han had tried to get his hands on this phalanx, and somehow Lando was blaming Han for the whole thing.
Because they were looking for something on the Millennium Falcon.
Correct.
That's why.
Yeah. Don't touch.
So there's lots of...
There's like a million tiny little sub-stories going on. Lando falls in love, like for real, and like kind of changes with Twi'lek.
Right.
In the end, Han finally tells Leia how he feels about being a crappy parent. And she tells him everybody feels like that. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he's fine.
Well, it's not just that. He also says, when I'm away from you, I only want to be with you. And when I'm with you, I only want to be away from you.
That's not what he said.
He did kind of.
He said, it feels right when I'm away, but it feels wrong because I'm not with you. But when I'm with you, I
feel like I do everything wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's because you do.
Yeah.
No, she made
that's
him
my
feel
wife.
better. She made him feel better. And Ben is not evil. He's a cute little toddler that gets taken care of by the droids that they thought were going to turn on him and try to murder him. What other important things happen?
There really wasn't a whole lot of important stuff that happened.
Yeah, they introduced a new character
there's
named
a few.
Taka.
Yeah, Taka's kind of cool. What about Peepa?
Peekpa?
I thought it was Peepa.
Yeah, so there's a Ewok
Peepa.
Hacker.
That's how
Ewok
she's-
hacker.
Slicer.
Max just said, say Peepa.
Peekpa.
And apparently loves Chewbacca.
Because he saved some of her family
Right.
on Endor or something.
Yeah.
Everybody loves
Chewbacca's in the
Chewbacca.
story.
Remember Chewbacca?
There's a annoying Gungan dude that's running it's not a prison, but it's like a old Imperial storage facility that got converted to New Republic. Can't remember his name. What's his name?
I don't even remember that part.
He joins the team. The Gungan dude does.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Gungan, you don't remember that part? When
no memory.
they
of
were in
that.
this facility and Peekpa has to slice in to get some information about a Imperial Admiral. What's his name? It starts with an F. But anyways, they go into the room and they're slicing it, and apparently all the security forces were just ex-Imperials that just got rehired by the New Republic, which is always a good idea.
Yeah.
And so they came to shoot him, and the Gungan made the floors go away. You don't remember that part? And then they
No.
fell
Are
down.
you sure this is the same book?
Yeah. They fell down, and there was these giant, like, chitinous creatures that were chasing after them.
No way.
You don't...
Nope.
Did you guys read the book?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing. I listened to it on Audible.
It's the first place they go, Substation Grimdock. So when Han and Lando find Taka, the first place they go is this Station Grimdock, where there's like a Mexican standoff between the New Republic and the Imperial Remnant.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So they go down into the station,
Yeah, and they
there's a
sneak
Gungan
in, and
there.
They trick them.
right?
And they're like, oh, we got nuclear reactors on board, and they're very dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, is this at the very beginning where there's those weird creatures that are like...
The ones I
Like-
literally just described, yes.
That was like
Part of the book.
hour one into the book.
part of the
in
book.
one of the million different timelines.
Where they're introducing all the characters
I
and
don't
the state
remember
of the
that
world.
character being in the
World building.
long term, though.
He continued on the adventure when they stole that dude's spaceship.
I don't remember that. What's his name? I remember
I'm-
Taka,
I'm trying to find it.
Peepa, Lando, his Twi'lek girlfriend, and Chewie. Those are the main characters.
And this Gungan dude. Keep talking. I'm going to find it. No, I'm going to actually
Okay,
look for it.
so what else important happened? Well, okay, I was kind of confused, like, what made Fringgore insane? Because it's like he's an Imperial, he's like in some academy, he's like a med student.
Yeah, he's the best and brightest. He's shy, doesn't like talking to anybody.
He
And
has friends.
These pirates come in. He has a friend, but he's like this boisterous whatever. And then these pirates come in and kidnap them,
Him and his friend.
right? Because they want,
They want the best surgeon.
right? Because I don't remember what they were gonna do,
There's somebody that needs help in the gang.
right?
And his friend says, I'm the best surgeon. And they all knew that he's just a cocky, you know what, because everyone else looked at Phison.
Right.
So they just took both of them.
Right. And then his buddy couldn't keep his yammer box shut. So they ended up
Shooting him.
shooting him. And then Phison lost it. I guess.
No. Somebody. Well, and then
A
they were
rival gang
attacked.
attacked them.
Attacked.
That's how this started. A
And
rival
then-
gang attacked him.
And then Phison and a medical droid ran away. And then somehow he turned into a complete psychopath who believed that droids were these all like pure, powerful beings that deserved to be alive for eternity instead of over organics. And so he started like collecting these droids and repurposing them and taking pieces from different creatures like Wookiees and all kinds of different aliens, I don't even know, and using their limbs and body parts to make these like hybrid droids. And just he started the very first time it was with his friend who was almost dead anyway, and then one other human, I don't even know who. So they were like almost dead. So he used them to like save a droid or something. I don't know. But then after that, it turned into like him going on raids and like literally just like kidnapping creatures to
take
use
their
their
body
body parts.
Yeah, there was this part of, or some stuff happened on Kashyyyk, and this monster was raiding Kashyyyk and taking Wookiee limbs.
It's the only reason Chewbacca would go, is because they wanted him to go investigate where all these vanished Wookiees went.
Right.
So anyway, I just don't understand how. I don't think there's nothing that really happened. It like was very quick. His like turn to psychopath. Like
I don't think it was that quick.
Well, like he got kidnapped. And
he was trapped in the middle of nowhere, and so to survive, he made a friend, and eventually evolved his belief that droids are no different than organics.
It basically happened instantly.
Yeah, it was just like out of nowhere.
It was.
It was over a course of, because his friend was alive for multiple days.
But he was
and then he
almost
killed
dead.
his friend to save the droid.
Because he had to make a choice. His friend wasn't going to survive because he didn't have any resources. He didn't have any way to get out. He was in the middle of nowhere, but he could save the droid. So he made the choice to save the droid. And over time, he became a fanatic.
I don't recall that being the case. I remember him killing his friend, like saving his friend, putting the body part on his friend, and then ending up killing his friend after he realized he had saved him.
He hadn't saved him completely. That's the thing. He saved him enough that he was alive in the moment, but he knew he was going to die.
Okay. I'll accept your interpretation because I've been wrong so many times.
So that medical droid that he made away with, like that he escaped the pirates with and everything, that droid becomes the Phalanx.
Correct.
And he ends up with like 14 droids, and then like
I thought it was the 12.
Well, there was 14 at first, and then a couple of them got killed, and then it was like the original dozen or something, and
there's all these creepy followers. Like it's got a super creepy vibe. Lots of stuff that Fringgore is involved with. He ended up putting the first one in a shipping container filled with just corpses that he'd mutilated. It became like his little workshop.
Yeah, there was some weird dark stuff in this one.
It was super creepy.
Lando referred to some very inappropriate coitus type things at the end of the book that I was like, wow, did they really put that into a Star Wars book when he was talking to L3? It was really shocking to me.
it was all about different droids, though.
Yeah, it was about droids making baby droids in groups.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out of that part. Mm. So the moral of the story or whatever was like that L3 saved everybody.
Because L3 and Lando were down in this shipping thing with all these droid parts, and they found the phalanx, and L3 had enough time to do a scan on this phalanx, but then also inject some, like once she figured out what it was, she injected some, what she called antivirus code, which essentially was just doubt.
She figured out the plan was to eventually have this transmitter send out this kill code to all the droids. So she developed an anti-code that would try to prevent that. But she figured all of this out on her own, and then she didn't even share this knowledge with Lando. Like, she didn't even tell him this was happening. So over half of the book, him and Han are completely clueless about what this phalanx is and where it is and what's going on. And the whole time, L3 had known about it a decade ago and didn't ever even like shared it with Lando, like this big plan she had to save the world.
And L3 was the big hero, because not only did she do that and help assist in getting the phalanx to just sort of shut off at the end and blow up or whatever, but she created these droids that were in her likeness that were running around the galaxy doing various things. And then they came together when they knew the phalanx was about to be released. And
they were immune.
Yeah, they came together and then they attacked and they saved Lando from sure death.
From Wookiee droids.
Right.
Whatever even happened to Fringgore? I kind of got confused.
Oh,
in this book
Han got
times.
really mad because he jeopardized
Ben's life
and his wife's life. And so he blew him up. Because Fringgore used to love ejecting from his ship and flying around with a jetpack for some reason in cold space. And Han blasted him like a whole bunch. He blew him in half first, and then Taka's like, well, you know, the thing about knocking people in half is sometimes they survive. And then Han blew his face apart, like exploded his torso and head. It was very descriptive in the book.
Okay, I must have been tuning it out at that point because I was like, so at the end, I'm like, okay, so what happened? Like,
and instead of just listening to what happened, you questioned the world.
Well, she was sweating off all of her toxins in an infrared sauna at the time.
Okay.
Actually.
That might have been at that point. I don't know. But I got confused a lot in this book because of all the different timelines and the different voice actors against the different timelines.
Yeah, and the different voice actors wouldn't try to imitate the voices the way that Mark Thompson does. He's the narrator that does what feels like every Star Wars book, but isn't. And I figured out I liked Mark Thompson a lot better in this book. I figured out the reason he does like one voice for like the young whippersnapper, like Snaps Wexley and Taka, and I hate that voice.
I like Taka's voice.
He's like, "Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
Let's do it."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
The dude who did the young Han is maybe the worst person I've ever heard on a book on tape.
You know what he sounds like? That guy on NPR.
That guy on NPR.
Peoria
That's
one.
real
Daniel
descriptive.
José.
Yes. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, we have a new. I don't know what happened over in our local NPR channel, but
They're being run by the Bloomington one.
I know. But they shuffled out
All
good
the old
people.
people.
Yeah, Lee Wanger is gone.
Yeah.
Lee Wanger's
our
gone?
boy,
Yeah.
our boy Nathan, he's gone.
Yeah.
Lee Wanger was on like every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gone.
All the
Daniel
old people are
José
gone.
took over the morning slot.
It's the only live content all day is the morning slot. The
He
rest
has a
it's
hard
all
time just like reading
pre-recorded.
sentences.
He's gotten a lot better. As soon as the pressure of the old guys went away, I guess he doesn't stutter as much during his readings. It is still often.
Yep.
Okay,
There was no
well-
money. The other thing that was super mega ultra annoying was that dumb song that Taka liked on the book on tape.
Oh, it was like some like metal.
It was a metal song from a band called Snodgrass and the Mogwars.
But it
And
wasn't in English. It sounded like
It was just
alien.
screaming.
Yeah.
And on the book on tape, it was just screaming. And they played it a lot. It was horrible.
It's kind of like in the Game of Thrones audiobooks.
The
with
bear.
The bear, and the maiden bear. Anybody remember that?
Yes, I remember that well.
Good.
I thought like the current Han, like the older Han, and Lando's voices were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Thompson does the main character's voices awesome. Yeah, he does them all great. I just don't like his young kid voice.
What about Peepa?
Mm.
Peekpa's fine.
It was annoying.
She reminds me of Pikachu.
I like I don't like so Fringgore was like just a freak of the week. They introduced him in this book. They retconned him into many decades and then terminated him all in the same book. So yeah, the story doesn't feel like it held a lot of weight. And honestly, now that they've fast forwarded with the movies and like what happens to not all the way, but that gap in between, I almost don't care as much as I did when it was the fake universe now.
When it was open-ended?
Yeah. Because what thrilled me with that was you didn't know what was going to happen. So like when the Yuuzhan Vong came and Chewie dies in the first book, you're like, oh, anybody can die. Like you were really worried about what was going to happen. And then like the Clone Wars series, right? So like when they would put those series out, I didn't care about them at all because I knew what happens already. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
So the I guess the gravity of it just doesn't grab me. I don't get excited.
There's no stakes.
Right. Yeah.
But not every book has to have
But
stakes.
you know that Lando...
No, it doesn't.
Like,
Lando got over his commitment issues. Don't you care about that?
No, because
just
he
joking.
didn't really. Are you kidding?
What do you mean? He said he did.
Yeah, he's going to change his mind.
Oh, he doesn't stay with her forever?
I mean, the
We'll
big
find out.
rumor is the new character in the new movie is Lando's daughter. Naomi Aki's
Is
character.
she half Twi'lek?
She's not half Twi'lek as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
She was full human when they introduced her.
What was his girlfriend's name?
I don't remember.
Kirsch. It started with a K.
It's not Kosha. That's somebody I work with.
Doesn't matter.
See why you get them mixed up, though.
She was a throwaway character. They'll never have her anywhere else, except for maybe in a comic.
There was also an Ugnaught that went with him. He was great. I like the Ugnaught.
Yeah, he snuck around and did stuff.
Don't do that to my phone.
And he always fell asleep. Like he always seemed to be asleep when important things were happening.
I don't know who you guys are talking about.
Peekpa saved the day, though, a couple times.
Everybody saved the day a couple times. You don't remember the Ugnaught? I'm going to find his name.
They even had one of the timelines where...
the Gungan's name was called Aro Nakukala.
That does not sound familiar. One of the timelines was with Han in the past, and he was with... what's her name? Sana.
Right, she's the one who wanted him to steal the phalanx so she could sell it to the droid Godra.
And then they had it, and then Han...
They had a
threw
meeting,
it out
and Han threw it out because...
he thought she was bluffing or something. It was just some...
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, I'm going home. And then it was over.
Basically.
She was like, you're dumb.
It was cool to hear about the droid Gotra again. It's sort of just been hinting around the sidelines for a long time.
What's that?
Her name is Kasha.
Oh, yeah. I said Kosha.
Oh, well, you were right then.
No, he said Kosha.
I said Kosha.
Yeah, I said something with a K.
I'm sure you were closer to right than him.
Here you go. The Ugnaught's name is Florks Bibbles.
That, I don't
that makes
remember
Biggles.
that at all.
Florks Biggles.
Don't remember
But they flew around on not the Falcon.
The Chevalier.
Yeah, it was kind of lame. Because they couldn't be Han Solo at first. They had to pretend to be somebody else.
I thought it was really funny that it had a French name, too. Like, why in fake space galaxy did they also invent French words?
I had not thought of that.
Yeah.
Anything's They probably just translated it from basic to something we could relate to.
Probably.
Stop. And they can't translate calf to coffee.
Yeah, did you notice there was a part where
Stop. Sorry. Max is messing with my mic.
Yeah, you should not let him
Sorry.
do that. Did you notice there was a part at the end where the droid was like, I'm going to make you some calf. And he was talking to the baby. He was talking to Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why are you making the baby coffee?
Because he's a stupid droid. It's all the whole time, that's the thing, is this droid can only make coffee.
Yeah, that's all he does.
He loved making coffee.
He was like, why did I have my knife out? What was I doing?
Yeah, he was about to
murder Ben.
slice through Ben's spine.
And then the anti-code hit him, I guess. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden he was like back to normal, and he was like, why do I have my knife out? Oh, maybe I was going to make you some calf. And then
he's like, that's right, I was going to make you some, because he had talked about making calf right before he wanted to kill him.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to have calf at the Disney World?
I don't think they do.
That would be really smart. Just to have like a calf.
Do you think it'd be smarter than a Coca-Cola bottle bomb?
Yes. Because there's nothing in Star Wars about Coca-Cola.
There is now. Even says Coca-Cola in Orabesh.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
So
Go ahead.
We are...
Watch out.
We're going to go to Disney World sometime. We're going to go there.
We need to rate the book.
Do we?
Before we start talking about Galaxy's Edge.
Did we tear it apart all the way?
I don't know that
there's like so many other little things that happen in all these different
timelines. There was lots
timelines.
of other cameos, like Maz was in it. You don't remember Maz?
Mon Mothma was in it.
I remember Mon Mothma at the beginning. I don't remember Maz.
The early Han story starts with Han at Maz's castle, and Sana walks in and says, "Come on, let's go. We need to go do something."
Oh, okay. So she wasn't really in it much.
Cameo. That's kind of what a cameo is.
Stop it. Next.
There was some other cameos that I can't remember. So there was the really creepy Imperial guy
that had been trying
who had his arms cut off as a proof of
loyalty
to Phison.
And he was trying to get Lando's arms.
Yeah, he was going to cut off Han and Lando's arms in order to tell him where
he had actually
Phison
captured Phison at one point and interrogated him, and then instead of cracking Phison, he cracked himself and turned into some zealot for this droid religion.
Yeah.
And
they had a cool monastery.
He was like the guardian of this like droid sanctuary. And I don't remember at this point, like Han and Lando came there for some information.
They wanted to find out where Phison was.
Okay. And so this creepy man that had droid arms or some parts of a droid on him.
He had no arms.
Oh, that's right. He had given up his arms.
Right.
He made a deal with them. Like, basically, Lando had to gamble. It's like, if you win, I'll give you the information. If you lose, you give me your arms. But Lando had the whole thing rigged. But it was super creepy.
Yeah.
That guy was crazy. That was probably my favorite part of the book, was the part with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that guy's name.
Doesn't really matter.
He had a cool name.
It's another throwback
Admiral
character.
Rouse Fastant.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did I say what episode number this was?
No.
At the beginning? I'm glad I didn't.
Because you don't know.
Because it's actually episode 156.
But you were going to say 155?
I was going to say 155. Yeah. 155 was our celebration episode.
The last episode.
The last episode.
I just dropped
I got snowed in my face. And today I sweat really bad. So long it's been since we podcasted.
All the 12 droids had cool names too. Bracket 1212.
This book,
9-7 sequence.
I didn't even know they had names. I thought there was like number 1 and
Balthamus.
number 2.
Those were the Fringgore lackeys.
Yeah, the ones
bots.
at the 7-7 Durgios.
Oh, I do remember that name.
This book was fine.
They had cool names.
It was fine.
I just
There was a
didn't
lot of
like
things
the
you could
different
tell.
timelines. I wish they could have just had like maybe 2 different timelines, not like 4. And the whole thing about why would L3 not have told Lando what was going on?
She was, I mean, I don't know. I guess that kind of fits in her character though. She thought
she had it
her
under
own
control.
Spirit. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. The book was fine. It's easily skippable. I don't think anything.
Oh,
Taka
had
happened.
a pet Korg. That was another thing that came up a bunch. A giant toad thing.
I don't remember that either, but.
You don't remember? Because the whole gag was he kept on licking Han and stealing his blaster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good one.
You guys, I didn't remember it either. I'm reading stuff as we
Good,
talk.
thanks.
This just came to me out
He's
of
a
nowhere.
wart. You remember shooting warts on Tatooine
Nope.
in Star Wars Galaxies? The creepy big toads.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Korg is.
Remember that?
He's a wart. All right. So what do you rate it?
6.
That's a lot higher than your talking.
Me? I didn't dislike the book. I just got really confused when they kept flipping around so much.
For as little as you know, it's like you heard a bunch of words enter your head, but you didn't create a complete idea of what those words meant. There's a lot of stuff you didn't even know how it ended, and you gave it a 6.
I know that L3 figured it all out like a long, long time ago and had this plan to save everybody. And she basically did. I know what happened with Lando's relationship and Han. And that's it. That's basically what I know.
All right.
It was a long book that had a lot of unnecessary stuff in it.
I thought long and hard about this, and
You just finished it an hour ago.
I've
You
decided
couldn't have thought very long about it.
I'm going to start doing half scores, half lightsabers.
Okay. You act like this is some monumental
It is
decision.
monumental because it's the first time on the podcast in 156 episodes that I've done this.
That you've come off the precipice of idiocy and joined in the radiant pool of knowledge.
You made a point when we were on our canoe trip this year, pointing out that there was no way to rate the intricacies on a simple 1 to 10 scale without being able to go into incremental upgrades. 5.5. 5.5 lightsabers.
I'd say 6.3.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
You just had to take a partial lightsaber a little bit further than Tim did, since he's doing partial to like 0.3, not 0.5.
It's between a 6.2 and a 6.4.
Well, I guess is 0.3 is exactly where you want to be then.
That's right. It's where it felt. Snuggled right in there.
Okay. Well, that's our podcast. Do we want to talk about any other Star Wars things?
Well, there's lots of Star Wars things that are going to happen soon.
I think, I don't know, should we actually try to be real about regularly podcasting now?
This is entirely you people.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that on the air because we've done that too many times. We make all these promises.
We're like the boy that called Wolf.
Yeah, we're not.
Like 15,000 times.
You're lucky if you ever hear from us again. That's what I'll say.
So Triple Force Friday is coming.
Triple Force Friday?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's one Friday with triple the Force.
What?
Yeah.
How are they going to do that?
They're going to have products and memorabilia related to The Mandalorian, The Rise of Skywalker, and Resistance, maybe? No, Clone War? I don't remember what the third source of the Force was. But
when is Force Friday? Triple Friday?
It's October something. I don't know the exact date.
Maybe Tim can Google it.
Maybe. So that's coming up. There's D23's coming up in a couple weeks.
What is that?
It's Disney's big yearly convention where it's supposed to be like a shareholder meeting, but at the same time they kind of talk about all their big plans for the next year. And so historically they have released new relevant movie content at D23. And so they'll either last time for The Last Jedi they released like a 3-minute sizzle reel and they released the official poster at D23. So people are expecting something similar to that. Probably more details on The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
At D23.
When is that?
It starts when Disney Plus starts.
Yeah, I mean, when
which is this fall.
It's like December or October or November.
Okay.
And it'll be one episode a week. It won't be a release everything at once.
Hulu.
Well, it is going to be like Hulu.
Yeah.
Did you know that they announced a package Disney did? There's going to be a Disney Plus version for like $12.99 or $11.99 that has
$12.99.
Hulu,
Disney.
ESPN Plus and Disney Plus.
Right. So if you already pay for Hulu,
Drop it.
and spend $3 more and pay for Disney Plus and Hulu.
Right.
Is
It's probably-
Disney Plus going to have commercials?
They haven't said yet. They have confirmed the Hulu version will be the ad-supported tier.
Right.
Ugh.
I know, it's the worst.
We've had Hulu forever, and we paid like $3 extra a month to not get the ads, and it's the best thing I've ever done. It's the best decision I've ever made.
I don't watch Hulu ever. Megan does because she watches The Handmaid's Tale and some other stuff.
Yeah.
We just canceled Hulu.
Yeah.
Last day is August 31st in this household.
The only reason we have Hulu is because we get it as part of our cell phone plan.
We get Netflix.
So-
Yeah, we get Netflix as part of ours.
So
But T-Mobile just made us pay $2 extra now
what?
every month. Yeah. So our bill is now $162 instead of $160
Yeah,
for
that's
4
a lot.
lines. For 4 lines unlimited plus Netflix?
Trying to think what we pay. $140
for
so-
2 lines.
for 4 lines. 5 lines
Do
actually.
you have 2 lines for your kids?
No, Kent and Sarah Schoner and I and Megan are on one plan
Oh,
to save the dollar bills.
okay.
So the other finger of Triple Force Friday is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, the game.
Yeah.
The game I'm actually quite hyped for.
A brand new action adventure game releasing holiday 2019.
Is that the one that we saw
Yeah.
at Celebrations that
Yeah.
we made such a big deal about?
Yeah, that one.
It's still not out yet?
It is.
It comes out in like November.
12:01 on October 4th.
There you go, October 4th.
You guys want to go?
I'm gonna go.
October 4th is Force Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Triple Force Friday.
Triple. They even have their own logo.
Yeah.
Well,
Look at this. Look how triple it is.
There's 3 lines.
There's 3 lines. Triple, Force, and Friday.
nice.
Yep. It's not very creative.
Don't you have a trip to Disney already planned?
In January. My family will be there the week of January 26th. January
You already
26th through
have,
Feb
like,
2.
Your tickets to.
We already got flights booked.
I think we're going in April or May or whenever it is Nora goes for cheer, inevitably and unfortunately.
Have you heard that like Disney attendance is down since
For
Galaxy
Disneyland.
Edge?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
I think-
lots of...
I think people were just trying to avoid the crowds. If you want
Well, the other thing
truth
is
of it.
all the what are they called? Not season passes, but like their year passes.
The annual passes.
Annual pass, that's what they call it. The base tier of the annual pass, which I guess is like what most people that go to Disneyland get.
Yeah.
It's all blacked out like during now,
Yeah. So that,
so that they could try and get more money out of Galaxy's Edge.
right.
So it's like synthetically lowering attendance and stuff. But yeah, it's not for Disneyland. Disney World attendance is like records every year.
Yeah. It's going to be off the chain.
Yeah. I'm going in the least populated week
Yeah,
on the
we
calendar.
go in the worst possible time of the year every year. Well, I've never
When
been
we
to
went for during
Florida.
spring break, that was not good
No, that
was
was the
busy.
worst trip to Disney World I've ever had.
from a busyness
Right.
perspective.
Yeah.
I've never been to Florida when it was winter in Illinois. I literally go at the dumbest time of the year.
The only time it's nice here.
Yeah, I go every time I go to Disney, it's nicer at home.
Yeah. So the other thing is the season 2 of The Resistance, the show that you guys haven't watched any of.
No,
Well,
we've
I've
watched
watched-
like 6 episodes at least.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We've only podcasted on 2.
Yeah, we should.
So
finish that.
season 2, the trailer for that came out today.
Oh, snap.
And they announced season 2 is the end.
The end, the last season of Resistance.
Okay, that makes me feel a little
What?
validated.
A little what?
I couldn't get into it, and if they're only making 2 seasons, apparently other people felt the same way.
I don't know about that. I think they want the people working on it to do other stuff.
Whatever.
And
Clone Wars,
whatever
probably.
makes you feel better.
It won't be
Not
Clone Wars.
liking
There's only going to be that one season of Clone Wars. There's going to be something else. Once the new movie comes out and the canon opens up.
So what are we going to talk about next episode? You guys want to do Star Wars Resistance, or do you want to do the new Claudia Gray book?
Well, we definitely won't have the book done.
We can just do, next week we can do Resistance, and then the next week after that we can try to do the book.
All right, so next week we've got Fuel for the Fire, which is the third full episode
I remember it.
of Star Wars Resistance. So do I.
There's lots of funny sneaking around in it. And hijinks.
Hijinks.
It picks up just like Rebels did. It picks up in the second half of the season.
All right, we'll see.
Jennifer and I are going on a trip this weekend. We're going to Michigan City, Indiana, to go to the beach.
Why?
Because I love the beach. It rejuvenates me. And it's my birthday this weekend.
It's my grandma's birthday today. I have to go to her birthday party on Saturday.
We went to the same beach last weekend.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's not the best.
No, it's not the best, but being on the beach is the best.
I disagree with that entirely.
So we can start Master and Apprentice, the Claudia Gray book, on our way up.
What is this about? I didn't even know there was another.
It's about what's the most famous Master and Apprentice you can think of in Star Wars?
It's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I was going to say Obi-Wan for sure.
Yeah. It's about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I'm sure it'll be really good. All right, that's the podcast for the week. You can email us letters at starwarsnerdsunite.com. We're everywhere on the internet. Follow us. We've got an Amazon link, a Patreon. Rate us, review us on iTunes.
Probably read
Spotify.
a lot of letters.
Don't commit to that.
Yeah, don't commit to anything.
Well, I'm
Bad
not
idea.
saying if they send in a letter now, it definitely will not get read next week. But we might read letters.
Maybe.
It depends on when we
We're not committing to anything.
Okay.
Write a letter if you want to. Maybe it'll be on the air.
Loosey goosey, no commitments.
Yeah.
We'll just see what happens.
Well, every time we make commitments, 5 months later we fill them.
Yeah.
Not even then. No, we didn't fill any commitment today. We just showed up.
We just randomly met and talked about stuff.
Max was pretty good.
He liked to play with these little.
He liked playing with
tiles.
the random stuff in the recording studio. All right, guys. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at benviewnetwork.com.